Amid the rush of daily life, the heart is often forgotten. Outer voices drown the inner whisper. Even in morning silence, thoughts compete, searching for meaning. Yet God often approaches his servant with quiet closeness. Signs are scattered into ordinary moments. The ear only gathers sounds, but the heart weighs meanings. Today, our journey begins here, by silencing the noise of the heart. Silence is not emptiness. It is a divine meeting. Now, I invite you to listen to your heart, for there you will hear the words whispered to you. Silence is first built within. The city may grow quiet, yet the mind's murmur remains, laying a veil over the heart. As Psalm 46, verse 10, says, "Be still and know that I am God." This word must be heard with the heart, not merely read. Take a deep breath, loosen your shoulders, release slowly. Silence is not escape but encounter. God shapes his servant in quietness. A small prayer echoes more deeply than many words. Today, dare to remain in silence, for within it lies the mercy awaiting you. Notice what pulls your attention through the day. The vibration of a phone, endless conversations, the voice of inner anxieties. Each of these covers the messages moving toward your heart. Silence is not only reducing outer sounds but choosing meaning. Turn inward and ask, what is being said to me now? The answer is often brief, yet in brevity lies depth. Today, make 3 small observations. What speeds you, what tightens you, what expands you? This awareness is the first doorway to hearing the divine whisper. Now, try a few practical steps. First, plan 5 minutes of silence at the same time each day. Turn off your phone, close the door. Second, breathe slowly, counting in and out. When thoughts pass, simply name them. Third, choose one phrase. My heart is calming. Fourth, offer someone a silent kindness. Kindness prepares the heart for sound. These steps remind us that silence is not only outward but inward order. God hears the one who patiently waits. The hasty hear only their own noise. Today, begin with silence, small but meaningful. When the heart grows calm, light appears, direction becomes clear. Jesus says in John, chapter 10, verse 27, "My sheep hear my voice." This word is not a command but a picture of closeness. Listening to God is a bond built on love. Ask your heart, what must I release now? The answer may be fear, haste, or bitterness. As you let go, mercy enters. Your heart grows lighter. This is silence's greatest gift, releasing inner burdens and opening space for God's voice. As the heart empties, his light begins to fill within. Lord, quiet the noise of my heart. Give peace instead of haste, trust instead of fear. Teach me the language of silence. Grant me to hear not with rushing but with patience. Help me not to despise your signs, to find wisdom even in small things. Today I take one step. I will set aside a time only for you. With each breath I will release excess and seek your nearness. For you are near. I long to remain close. In silence, may I hear your whisper. May my heart be filled with your light, my path clear with your grace. Many often misunderstand silence, seeing it as emptiness or loneliness. Yet silence is a meeting, not an escape. In the crowd of daily life, the heart scatters and the inner whisper fades. Silence is a gift that gathers the heart again. Try lowering the outer voices and quiet your mind the same way. You will notice that silence does not abandon you. Instead, it makes God's nearness more clear. Learning silence is the first great step pointing your heart toward his signs. Learning silence means not only stepping away from the outer world, but also quieting the inner noise. The mind never stops speaking. Future worries, past regrets, present fatigue, each becomes a veil over the heart. As Psalm 62, verse 1 says, "My soul waits for God alone. My salvation comes from Him." This is where the power of silence lies. While waiting for God, the heart deepens. Words lessen, meanings increase. Noise fades, signs appear. Silence is the teaching that calms the inner storm with peace. Silence is not for escaping life's noise, but for approaching the voice within. Getting lost in crowds is easy, but in silence, facing yourself is hard. Many do not realize they run by talking. Silence halts that escape. It lets you notice the feelings rising inside. Then you realize you are not truly alone. God stands beside you in the heart's quietest moment. Learning silence transforms the fear of loneliness into the gift of nearness. This gift deepens the soul and makes true listening possible. Learning silence also means learning patience. People usually want quick results, to hear, to understand, to solve immediately. Yet God's voice does not come in haste. Silence teaches waiting. Minutes passed in patience mature the heart. A seed falls into soil, but sprouting takes time. In the same way, the divine whisper is heard through patience. In silence, the hasty hear only their own noise. The patient listener notices God's address. This is why silence is a bridge woven with patience, guiding the heart. Learning silence increases awareness. In the sound of a bird's wings, the wind's whisper, or the flow of water, there is God's address. Silence allows these voices to be heard. What you often consider ordinary may actually be a divine sign. When you remain silent, you can perceive them. Today, slow down and listen to your surroundings. Perhaps every sound you hear is God's way of speaking with you. Silence transforms even ordinary moments of life into sacred encounters. Lord, give me the courage to learn silence. Teach me to let my heart speak more than my tongue. Grant me to find nearness, not loneliness, in quietness. Today I will listen only to my breath and the rhythm of my heart. As my voice lessens, increase your signs. Widen my heart. In silence may I hear your whisper and be filled with peace. For I know silence is never empty. Within it lies your presence. May my silence become the doorway opening to you. The heart is the center of a person. Whatever the mind produces reflects there, and emotions take root. Yet anger, greed, jealousy, and haste cover it like a veil. Until this veil is lifted, God's whisper cannot be heard. The door you opened with silence must now deepen with a purified heart. For an unclean heart mishears even the most beautiful words. As the heart is cleansed, the voice grows clearer and the path more visible. Without purification, the journey of listening remains incomplete. This is why cleansing is the soul's most necessary step. To cleanse the heart is to be freed not only from sin but also from emotional burdens. An unforgiving heart carries the weight of the past. Resentment lays darkness over the soul. A thankless heart always sees lack and cannot hear what God gives. As Psalm 51, verse 10, says, "Create in me a clean heart, O God." This prayer expresses the longing for purification. For without cleansing, signs are misread. In a purified heart, God's light shines more clearly and becomes a true guide along the way. Forgiveness loosens the chains of the heart. People often think not forgiving is strength, yet forgiveness is true freedom. When you forgive someone, you release your own heart. Gratitude also enlarges the heart. A thankful person hears God's greatness even in small things. In such a heart, resentment cannot dwell, and jealousy finds no place. As the heart is purified, God's voice echoes more clearly. Thus, purification is not a one-time act but a lifelong journey. Daily prayer, daily gratitude, and daily forgiveness keep the heart clean. The cleansing of the heart also means release from the burdens of worldly love. One cannot bind the heart both to the world and to God. Divided loyalty weighs the heart down. A heart full of worldly desire misreads the signs. But when the heart is lightened, even the smallest whisper of God becomes audible. Jesus says in Matthew, chapter 5, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." A pure heart is the clearest doorway to seeing and hearing the divine voice. Thus, purification is also a source of hope and joy. As the heart is purified, inner peace increases. A grateful heart expands. A forgiving heart finds relief. This relief makes room for God's light. Without cleansing, truth appears distorted, like a dirty window bending the view outside. But a clean heart reflects reality rightly. Today you can start with a small step. Forgive someone who hurt you or give thanks for what you have. In doing so, your heart grows pure and your listening deepens. Cleansing helps you hear not only God's voice but also your own true essence. Lord, cleanse my heart. Remove the resentment, jealousy, and greed within me. Fill me with gratitude and make forgiveness easier. May my heart be a place open to your light. Today I will take a small step to lighten it. For I know a cleansed heart hears your voice in its clearest form. Grant me this courage. As my heart remains pure, may my path become clear and your signs shine brighter. The door I opened with silence, I now long to widen with a purified heart. Patience is one of the greatest virtues needed for the heart's maturity. People often rush. They want to understand quickly, solve quickly, and find relief immediately. Yet God's voice, like a seed, sprouts in its own time. No matter how long you wait, the divine message enters the heart at the right moment. This is why patience is the key to listening. Without patience, signs are distorted and interpreted hastily. The one who waits hears the voice silently ripening within. This journey exists so the heart may grow gentle with patience and hear God's wordless teachings. Patience is not merely enduring hardship. It is learning the peace of waiting in the heart. A seed falls into the soil yet needs time to sprout. Even with water, it does not open before the sun. Likewise, God's address emerges through patience. As Psalm 37, verse 7 says, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him." This teaching reminds us that the divine whisper is heard not in haste, but in waiting. Patience slows the heart and makes it sensitive to signs, so the word of God arrives at the perfect moment. The one who waits with patience truly learns to trust, for patience is the sibling of surrender. The person who trusts God knows that time rests in his hands. The hasty only try to hear their own desires and miss the truth. A patient person opens their heart in silence and reads the signs rightly. Just as nature blooms in its proper season, so the soul flowers in its own time. Patience does not weigh the heart down. Instead, it roots and strengthens it. Each whisper heard is engraved deeply, and combined with trust, patience brings lasting peace. Patience keeps hope alive, for patience is not only endurance but waiting with hope. A hopeless wait breaks the silence, but a hopeful wait strengthens the heart. Romans chapter 8, verse 25 says, "But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience." This verse shows how patience, joined with hope, nourishes the soul. The one who waits patiently learns the value of every moment, realizing that even delays hold meaning. Patience is a holy virtue that keeps hope alive and prepares the heart for light. Patience also teaches listening. The hurried person speaks, decides, and tries to find direction, but the patient one stops, waits, and listens. God's whisper is often heard in silence and under the shadow of patience. As in Elijah's story, the Lord was not in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire, but spoke in a gentle whisper. The one who listens with patience hears that voice. This is why patience is the art of hearing, not with the ear, but with the heart. The patient heart becomes sensitive to God's finest address, changing life's direction. Lord, teach me the gentleness of patience. Replace my restless spirit with peaceful waiting. Let me surrender my heart to you, knowing that time is in your hands. Today I will not complain about delays. I will remember that each moment carries a hidden lesson. For the one who waits patiently will hear, and the one who endures will see. Lord, place this patience within my heart. Illuminate my path with patience, and help me see your signs with patience. May waiting patiently teach me to hear your whisper. The heart is often left in the shadow of the mind. Yet hearing the heart's voice is one of the deepest ways to perceive truth. A heart that has been cleansed and made patient can now read the signs without confusion. When it tightens, it gives a warning. When it finds peace, it offers direction. The journey that began with silence and was strengthened by patience now continues by listening deeply to the heart. For the mind is limited, but the heart senses the unseen. Listening to the heart means hearing God's signs in their purest form. The heart speaks through feelings. Sometimes it brings peace, sometimes it brings unease. These emotions are not random. They are signs God has placed within his servant. In John chapter 14, Jesus says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you." The peace that arises in the depth of the heart is the echo of this gift. The one who learns to listen to the heart does not despise this echo but shapes direction accordingly. The heart is a wordless guide. Those who ignore it lose their way, but those who listen become open to the divine whisper. Listening to the heart requires going beyond the limits of the mind. What the mind cannot see, the heart perceives. What the mind cannot hear, the heart listens to. Thus, the one who listens to the heart senses the unseen. The Apostle Paul says in Romans chapter 8, "We know we are children of God through the testimony of the Spirit." This testimony, coming from the depths of the heart, goes beyond human reason. Listening to the heart is not just hearing emotions but perceiving the divine guidance hidden in the soul. This guidance becomes clear in the patient heart. Learning to listen to the heart also requires being honest with oneself. Many people hear the voice of their heart but refuse to accept it. The heart says, "Do not go," yet the mind finds excuses. The heart says, "Wait," yet the soul rushes forward. Here the value of a purified and patient heart is revealed. A clean heart filters out false signals and rightly chooses the divine. The heart's voice is God's echo within us. To silence it is to silence the truth. To listen is to embrace the purest form of surrender. The warnings of the heart often oppose the mind, yet within them lies hidden wisdom. For example, in a room where no one speaks, your heart may feel heavy. This heaviness is a divine caution. At other times, even in hardship, your heart feels peace. This peace is God's way of saying, "I am with you." Patience strengthened through silence now allows you to hear the heart's voice more clearly. The heart is the most sensitive place to hear God's signs. To despise it is to lose direction. To listen is to remain on the path. Lord, teach me to listen to the voice of my heart. Grant me not to suppress it with noise or run from it with excuses. When my heart grows heavy, may I understand your warnings. When it finds peace, may I see your nearness. Today I will set aside a moment to listen to my heart, for I know in its deepest place your traces remain. The one who listens finds direction in those traces. May my heart be open to your light and filled with your signs. Gratitude is the purest form of prayer that enlarges the heart. People often remember to give thanks for great blessings, yet gratitude is hidden in life's smallest details. The morning eyes open, the breath taken in, the sip of water, each is a reason to be grateful. A thankful heart hears God's voice more clearly, for gratitude reduces inner noise and makes room for peace. Today, give thanks for something small. Perhaps in that smallness a great sign is hidden. Gratitude shifts the gaze from narrowness to spaciousness. Gratitude is directed not only toward blessings but also toward trials. For hardships, too, mature the heart. In James, chapter 1, it teaches, "My brothers, count it all joy when you face various trials. To be grateful even in difficulties shows the strength of the heart." Such gratitude frees a person from negativity and prepares them to hear God's whispers. Learning to give thanks is seeing the light even in darkness. This light calms the heart and makes the signs shine more clearly. Gratitude changes perspective. A heart focused on lack is always noisy, and that noise drowns out God's voice. Yet a thankful heart sees what it has and finds calm. Paul says in Philippians, chapter 4, "Do not be anxious about anything. In every situation pray with thanksgiving." Gratitude silences anxiety and opens the heart to peace. Today, name 3 things to be thankful for, whether small or great. For a heart filled with gratitude begins to hear the divine message in everything. Gratitude also teaches sharing. The one who shares what they have turns gratitude into action. Sharing reminds us that a blessing is not only for oneself but also mercy for others. Thus the heart does not shrink. Instead, it expands. A thankful person feels God's love both in their own life and in another's heart. Today, do a small kindness, even a smile will do. For gratitude does not remain in words. It grows stronger through action. Gratitude lived in deeds further purifies the heart. Gratitude sanctifies the moment. Regret over the past or anxiety about the future makes one forget gratitude. Yet gratitude focuses on the now. Jesus says in Matthew, chapter 6, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself." Gratitude allows us to see today and hear God's voice in this very moment. The present becomes the place of divine encounter. A grateful heart transforms even ordinary moments of life into sacred signs. Lord, give me a heart of gratitude. May I hear your message in blessings without pride and in trials without complaint. Today, let me give thanks for what I have, focusing not on lack but on your gifts. For I know gratitude enlarges the heart and makes room for your whisper. A heart filled with gratitude learns to trust more easily. Lord, let my gratitude bring me peace, and let my trust bring me confidence in you. Trust in God means leaving the outcome to Him after your effort. People often want to control everything, managing the future, shaping destiny, forcing results. Yet this desire to control exhausts the heart and chains the soul. Surrender breaks those chains. As Psalm 55, verse 22 says, "Cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you." This is what trust is, laying your burdens upon Him. With this surrender, the heart grows lighter, peace increases, and the divine whisper is heard more clearly. Trust is not passive waiting. A person works, strives, and struggles, yet leaves the outcome to God, for they know the true owner of results is Him. This awareness gives birth to peace in the heart. Where the mind calculates endlessly, trust calms the heart. Jesus says in Matthew, chapter 6, "Look at the birds of the air. The Father feeds them." This is an invitation to release control. Trust is waiting with confidence after effort. The peace of the heart begins here. Trust silences fear. People often fill their hearts with, "What if it fails? What if I lose?" Such fears leave no room for God's voice. But the one who trusts knows that both what happens and what does not carry wisdom. With surrender, the heart is freed, chains are broken. Paul says in Romans, chapter 8, "All things work together for good for those who love God." This is what trust means, holding this confidence within the heart. Thus fear is silenced, and divine peace takes its place. Trust keeps hope alive, for the servant who trusts God knows they are never alone. The uncertainty of tomorrow does not create anxiety. Instead, it broadens the heart. The one who trusts hears a message in every event. Whether good or difficult, God's voice lies behind all things. Today, try surrendering even when your plans fall apart. Perhaps in the breaking, an invitation is hidden. Trust is the bridge of hope. The heart that crosses it feels God's nearness more clearly. Trust makes the heart lighter. When people try to control everything, they are crushed under heavy chains. Yet trust is laying down those burdens. This lightness prepares the heart to grow in love. For a heavy heart cannot carry love, but a heart made light by trust becomes more open to God's love. The peace born of surrender expands the soul. Thus the heart opened by gratitude grows light with trust and finds the best ground for love to flourish. Trust is the wing that carries the heart into peace. Lord, teach me to trust. Grant me to leave the outcome to you after I have done my part. Silence my fears, free my heart. Today, if my plans do not go as I wish, remind me that behind it lies wisdom. For I know the one who trusts is never alone. You are always near. Lighten my heart and fill my soul with peace. May my trust become the doorway that opens me to grow in your love. Love is the strongest key that softens the heart and lets God's whisper be heard most clearly. Hatred and resentment harden the heart, making it unable to hear. Yet a heart filled with love perceives even the finest sign. Paul says in 1 Corinthians, "Love never fails. Love carries a person into lasting nearness, for within love echoes God Himself." A heart that grows in love hears the divine voice everywhere. All steps of this journey find their completion in love. Love multiplies the light. A heart filled with hatred is darkened, but a heart filled with love becomes radiant. Jesus says in John, chapter 13, "By this everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." Love is not merely an emotion, but a divine testimony. When people love, they reflect the presence of God. As love grows, the heart becomes tender, the soul expands. This expansion allows God's voice to be heard in even the smallest sign. Thus, love becomes the most delicate doorway to hearing. Love enlarges goodness. A small smile, a helping hand, a touch of mercy, each is a sign of love. God places love in the heart to protect humanity. For love breaks the chains of hatred and keeps hope alive. 1 John says, "Love comes from God. Everyone who loves knows God." Love is directed not only toward people but toward all creation. Such love multiplies the divine echo in the heart. The one who lives with love hears God's, "I am here everywhere." Love makes patience easier. You wait because you love, you endure because you love. Even in hardship, The one who lives with love never loses God's voice, for love reminds the soul of its strength. As Augustine said, "Love is the root. All goodness grows as its branches." A heart that grows with love and joins with patience becomes even stronger. That is why every earlier step, silence, gratitude, trust, purification, finds its fulfillment in love. Without love, no step bears lasting fruit. Love must be shared with the community. Love that grows alone remains incomplete, but when shared, it multiplies. Share the divine signs you hear on this journey with others, for the echo in your heart may light another's path. Paul says in Galatians, chapter 6, "Carry each other's burdens." Love is the bond that strengthens community. Today, share a gratitude or a prayer from your heart. Perhaps your words will help someone else hear the whisper of God. Lord, enlarge my heart with love. Replace hatred with mercy, fear with trust. May I hear your whisper with my heart and shine your light through my love for others. Today, at the end of this journey, I remember silence, purification, patience, gratitude, and trust find their fulfillment only in love. If this path inspired you, share it in the comments and subscribe. For when we walk together, our hearts echo to one another. Lord, strengthen our hearts filled with love through your signs.